Junior Stewart from Luton was made redundant from his sales job during the first lockdown. Since then, the 45-year-old has started up his own company, training people in setting up their own online marketing business. Junior joins me on the line now. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Andy.
So what happened after you were made redundant then? I mean, what money did you have coming in?
I had no money coming in. Basically, I just had a 3-week-old baby was born. I started a new job because of everybody was talking about Brexit. I was self-employed. I thought, okay, the best thing for me to do is just get a job. So I started a job on the 9th of March. By the 31st of March, I was made redundant.
Wow. And then you started applying for jobs, but what were you finding?
Oh, gosh, it was crazy. Applying for jobs. It was really, really, really tough. But basically, luckily for me, my story ended up on the BBC News. And because of it, I had a lot of people contacting me on LinkedIn. So I had CEOs contacting me, MDs contacting me saying, look, and they all said the same thing. They said, look, just wait and see. You've got the right skills. You've got everything that we need, but we just want to see what the government is doing. So basically, it was just falling on deaf ears.
But that doesn't pay the bills, though, does it?
No, that's the issue. It's crazy because on the 31st of March, I was made redundant. The following day, it was my daughter's birthday. So we had this, at the time, everybody's on lockdown. So we had this birthday thing for her in the house. But inside, I'm thinking, how am I going to pay the bills? My wife was on maternity leave. I've got 2 other children. What am I going to do? And what I realised is that I couldn't rely on employers. I just got a job, and I was made redundant. No employer now can guarantee you job security. I couldn't rely on the government. That I was actually advised to apply for universal credit. They paid us £8.60 each per week, and then cut it after 2 months. So I couldn't rely on the government. So I had to upskill and set my own business up.
Well, just before we get into what you've set up, I've also been hearing from friends who've also been, unfortunately, in the same position that you were, that they were applying for jobs. And so, I mean, applying for a job is always difficult, but the people going for the jobs were highly overqualified, but because they had been sacked from their jobs. So all of a sudden, you've got executive managers, MDs going for kind of like really basic jobs.
Right. And think about it. And this is the worst thing: when all you want is a job, the worst thing somebody can now turn around and say to you is that actually you're overqualified. Yeah. And when I need to pay my bills just like everybody else, how can you be overqualified? It's a catch-22, and it's a very honestly, and that's why I set up my business, because I wanted to help people. I didn't want anybody to be in the same position. Fair enough, they've extended the furlough, but I can guarantee you, I'm saying to people now, you need to have a plan B. Don't think that actually in the next few months, everything's going to go back to normal.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Because, all of this, for some people, it could really knock someone's mental health and confidence.
Absolutely.
But and they can think, well, I'll never get a job. I'll never. I mean, I'm applying for a job to be a postman, and there's 1,000 people going for it. There's no way they're going to look at me.
Look, I tell you what. I had a friend of mine, because my story was in the news. I had a friend of mine. He had his own security company, and he said, "Look, come and work for me, Junior. Fantastic." And I said, "Okay, I will do it." So I had to be SIA qualified, so I did the course, everything else, I passed it, and then he said, actually, the project that we're working on is in a mortuary, where basically, unfortunately, all the people that had COVID had died, and it would have meant me travelling about 300 miles away. Now, bear in mind, I've just had a 3-week-old baby. I'm now in a catch-22. What do you do? Take the job. But bear in mind, at the time, everybody had to be in bubbles, which would have meant, that I wouldn't have been able to stay with my family. What do? You need the money, but at the same time, you need to be there for your family. It was tough.
And you really have gone in a totally different direction. You've taken this situation to do something positive and to help others avoid unemployment and redundancy. So tell us about what business you've set up then, Junior.
Right. So basically, I set up GoDigital School. That's the name of the business. And basically, one of the things that I was looking at was that, okay, where is there a need? I think people just need to be creative. And one of the things that I found out was that in the UK, there's a huge digital shortage. So wherever there's a shortage, there's an opportunity. I actually ended up speaking to a couple of students in Australia that set up an online business in lockdown, and they made $160,000 in 2 months. Now, I spoke to these guys, and I'm like, no, that's not possible. They did it, and think about it. All the companies that was letting people go, people being made redundant, the companies that were thriving were internet-based companies. Amazon increased by 40% in the first 3 months of lockdown. So for me, I'm like, actually, that's where I need to go. So I upskilled, and I was able to launch my own business.
But that must be still quite a daunting and scary thing to do, to set up a new business during the middle of a pandemic, isn't it?
Look, absolutely. And this is the thing. That's why I'm encouraging people, whoever's listening to this, try something different, because I ended up on a TV show, Your Money in Your Life, and the trusted advisor to The Apprentice, Linda Plant, she actually encouraged me. She said, look, if you can, start your own business, because think about it, it's going to be extremely competitive in the job market at the moment. And I read a study which showed that, you know, people that had a job and they was doing a second project on the side, that contributed to about 72 billion to the UK economy. So if I can do it in my situation, with no money coming in, and no resources, anybody could do it.
So you really are the proof in the pudding. You know what I mean? Even if people are reluctant to start up their own businesses, look, this is the perfect opportunity, really.
Look, you think it's not. It goes counter to what we believe or what we think. But this is the best time. Think about it. It's like even my wife, during lockdown, she's baking cakes, baking this. Everybody's got time on their hands. So why not utilise that time in something that's going to be productive?
It's just scary, though, Junior, isn't it? Because I do have a very good friend of mine who's been in the same job, no word of a lie, for almost nearly 32 years, doing the same job, and very good at that job. He's been very good at that job, and suddenly gone, sacked, gone, end of. And now he's got, and he's like, he's not old. He's younger than me, but it's just starting that something new, isn't it? It can be quite daunting. It can be quite terrifying.
Look, as I said, all I can do is, based on my experience, I was there. I can feel the pain. I was there, and I think with the kids to feed, mortgage to pay, everything like that. But you have to just think, actually, I can do it. What do I need to do? You have to upskill. That's the first thing. You need to upskill, whether it's in digital marketing, whether it's in whatever. Look for a shortage in the market, get upskilled in that, and then provide a service. Now, you can still be looking for a job while you're doing that, okay? But do something, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that you could do is leave it, wait until the end of furlough, and then what happens? Because not even Boris knows what's going to happen. That's Johnson, by the way.
Junior, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Andy Collins, BBC 3 Counties Radio.
All righty.